Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Dee. This is going to be about crafting and the blacksmith. Following on from my basics tutorial, how crafting works, the basics of it, Glenn Lennox, hello Glenn, has asked me to do something specific on blacksmithing, and I figured I'd start here. I'll probably do one for woodworking and also cloth as well. He's behind me, struggled for my words there for a minute. But yeah, I thought I'll do cloth as well. They are, in a sense, very similar, and I guess once you get the hang of it, you'll start to see how it hangs together. But it's probably worth just talking through in detail, in depth, to take it up to that next stage from my initial kind of the basics. So here I am. Here's my orc character, looking pretty hench, but he's only level 11. And what I've done is obviously crafted his helmet. That's why I managed to get that, and the shoulder pads. So find your blacksmithing station. I am in Daggerfall at the moment. I don't know why it's not showing up on the map, but that's the crafting station in there, just north of the bank. Click on that, and then you've got the same options as our previous video. If you haven't watched the previous video, I'm just going to do a quick summary. Refine, so when you're collecting raw material, you collect iron ore. Once you've got 10 iron ore, you can refine it into iron ingots. Roughly, on average, you get about 8 iron ingots for 10 iron ore, but it kind of varies a little bit, so it's not like you refine 10 and you get 1, but you still need lots. So there it says can be refined into 7 to 10 iron ingots. I guess I'm hoping the more you level up your blacksmithing skill, the higher the number of iron ingots you create. I haven't got enough at the moment, doesn't really matter, because iron ingots is what you need to create stuff. You'll also see I've only got 1. So first thing to note, I can create weapons. So here are all my blacksmith weapons. If you're going to be a melee character, I highly recommend you do blacksmithing as a crafting line, because yeah, it's going to help you build your own weapons to support your character. So all of these are going to be good. If you are looking to level up your crafting though, stick to daggers. What you'll find is when you craft a weapon, or even if I click on the right bumper button at the top, and that's what takes me to apparel, each of these items requires different amounts of iron ingots. So the minimum I can create a cuirass with is 7, feet are 5, gauntlets 5, 5, 6, 5, 5. The weapons, axe is 3, sword 3, double-handeds are 5, dagger is 3. So it's important to note you get the same amount of experience no matter what type of weapon you create, but with a dagger you're only using 3 iron ingots to get that same experience. So in terms of efficiency, if you're just doing it to grind out the level, do 3 ingots. Do the dagger. If you're looking to actually make yourself something, and obviously that's where you want to go for. So at the moment I haven't got enough iron ingots to make anything, so I'm going to come back to that, and I'm going to talk about deconstructing. And deconstructing is actually more important than creating. So if I click on deconstructing, I've got all the weapons I just kind of collected over time, all the apparel I've collected over time. Now this is really important because you get more experience to deconstructing equipment and apparel and weapons, than you would do actually creating it. So, and actually another thing to note is that you get more experience for deconstructing higher level weapons. So I don't really have one, so at the moment it's super high level, they're all level 11 apart from the iron mace, which I actually want to keep because it's pretty good. Maybe I'll have a look in the gauntlets. Okay, so rubbish gauntlets, deconstruct that. I have leveled up, but as you can see in the bottom right corner, it's literally leveled up nothing. If I do level 1 boots, deconstruct those, nothing. You can see I barely even registered level 4 change on that. Now, if I wanted to go for, what shall I go for? This level 11 iron gauntlets. Wallop, it's actually progressed a reasonable amount and it's given me an iron ingot. Happy times. If I was to deconstruct something like this, it's going to give me stacks. And I'm going to deconstruct... I've used those before. They're magic as well, so they're fine, they're green. So if you deconstruct a fine or a blue item, all that, you get more and more experience for deconstructing it. So if you pick up something that's amazing when you're doing a dungeon run or whatever, don't always think I'm going to sell it if you can't use it. Like this Lion Guard girdle, I'm kind of half keeping it for when I'm level 15, but actually it's going to give me stacks amount of deconstructing experience, or just blacksmithing experience if I was to deconstruct it now. Equally, you want to kind of consider that which ones are going to be helpful to you, so not to deconstruct them, but obviously the reason I'm deconstructing it is because I've now got loads of iron ingots. So if I go back to creation, here's all my axes, so I'm going to create a dagger. First thing you need to do is actually, you can add, and I showed you this in my previous videos, that if you just use 2 iron ingots, it creates a level 1 dagger for 168 damage. If I now add another iron ingot to it, so I've just dropped down from that material to 3, takes it up to level 4, 215 damage, and it scales up until the maximum you can put in there is 8, 346 damage for a level 14 dagger. So I'm only level 11 at the moment, and I'm going to keep a happy blend at 4, so I can create 2 iron daggers at level 4. Next, we've got style. So this is how it looks. It's pretty much aesthetic. My default is orc. I'm an orc. You can learn these, and the way that you learn them is, I've been pretty lucky, is you can actually pick up books . So I've learnt the racial style from reading the book. I can go back and read that any time. Let's not worry about that right now. So if I go back to my crafting station, you'll now see wherever Nord is, there it is. Ooh, that one. I need 1 piece of corundum, and I could make that if I want. But I'm not going to create it, just going to show you how it looks. So orc, I've got 2 of these, and then a trait. So these traits are all coming off your research, and I'll explain that in a minute. But I'm going to create 2 daggers at level 6 for 251 damage. Level 6 seems to be a fairly good average in terms of how much experience you gain from crafting it. So you can see from crafting that dagger, I'm going up a very small amount. It's not as much as if I was to deconstruct that dagger, but there we are. So my next tip is, once you create a dagger, you can deconstruct it instant. However, deconstructing your own daggers is not as good as deconstructing someone else's. So if I swap out, oh, don't report. I'm going to swap one of my created daggers for one of Dimpstar's created daggers, and what you'll find is that how much I get more for deconstructing her dagger than mine, assuming they're of the same level, and I'm not actually asked Dimpstar to create a particular dagger at a particular level. She's done at level 4, so this is actually probably, it'll be interesting to see how much difference it makes. So I'm going to deconstruct mine first, level 6, look in the bottom right corner, moved up a fraction. Dimpstar's level 4 should go down less. I reckon that's moved up about the same amount, even though it was 2 levels lower. But actually, just looking back at the bar, my blacksmithing bar, I think the experience I got from deconstructing Dimstar's level 4 dagger was quite a bit more than my level 6 that I created. So my recommendation, if you play with someone a lot, you craft or deconstruct all the loot that you've gained over the past PvP missions, dungeons that you've done. Deconstruct that, create as much as you can with it, and then pass it over to your teammate, your buddy, and get them to deconstruct it all, because you'll get loads more experience if you share it out and work that way together. So a little tip there. The next thing I'll look at is improvement. So this is where you can turn your current equipment into better items, and you basically, as you can see on the top of the screen there, you can turn equipment from normal to fine to superior to epic to legendary. You do need materials to do that. As you deconstruct stuff, especially the already fine or the superior, you tend to output, or the deconstruction process will give you some of these raw materials. If I wanted to say, for example, change something from normal up into a fine, turn it into a green, I need these honing stones. As you can see, I've got 3 of them. Each honing stone you add into the process increases the potential for you to actually achieve that, achieve turning it into a fine item. However, if you don't achieve it, you actually destroy the item. So you need to feel pretty confident or have enough stones being added into the process to actually improve it. If you add 5, it definitely does it. And that's what I'd go for. I've tried it before on like 40 and 60 and it's failed, and it's a bit embarrassing. But if you want to change something up from green to blue, from fine to superior, you need this Dwarven oil, and you're not really going to get that unless you if you find it potentially, or you start deconstructing blues. I reckon that's when you're going to get it. But that's how improvement works. I'm not going to show you exactly how it works now, or actually do it, just because I might lose something. What else is there? Research. So this research gives you the ability, when you're creating it, to add these traits. As you can see, I have 1 research completed at the moment with this character, which is against my greaves. I have training. So if I wanted to create some greaves, which I need to go to apparel, find the greaves. You can see everything on this currently says research to unlock, which means you need to find one of these items to actually research against it to gain it. That one there, the training, although I don't have an emerald, I have unlocked. Everything else is still locked. So in order to add these traits, these abilities, firstly you need one of these stones, whichever one is applicable to that particular trait, and you also need to have researched it. So always look out for this, to have a look at what's available to research before you deconstruct anything. It's always good to learn it, because it gives you, the possibility in the future of creating far better equipment. I'd also mention that you only learn it for that particular item. So researching it for this would give me powered. That's what it gives me. It reduces cooldown of weapon enchantment by 35%, but it's only against a one-handed mace. So it's not really that useful. But I'm going to do it in this particular circumstance. Or am I? I quite like that mace. No, let's keep that mace. What else can I do it against? Let's do it against these trousers, which I'm never going to wear. So this increases my armor value by 13%. That's the research I'm going to take. It's going to take 12 hours though, because I've already done 1 in this skill line. So it goes up to 12, and it almost doubles up. So by the time you get to the end one, you're having to research for a very long time. But it's definitely worth it. You don't get any experience in your crafting line as far as I'm aware. Or you just do a little bit. Sorry, it's just gone up. But ultimately, when that 12 hours is up, you're going to be able to create it in that line. Also worth mentioning, you don't get any experience from refining equipment, so have that as a consideration. But once you've got it unlocked, you can come down here, as long as you've got the associated emerald or like diamond, you can certainly put it in there as well. Another thing to mention is that as you increase in your metalworking, you do increase the amount of equipment that you can get. Sorry, not equipment, the materials that you can use. I can certainly already use steel ingots and the Orichalcum, can't never say that, and the Dwarven ingots, but I haven't found any. That's because they're level 36, as you see, so it's never going to be in my kind of the first starting zone. Level 26, level 16, I might start finding steel ingots, that'd be great, or steel armour, and I can deconstruct it and then be able to create my kit. So that's it, that's a kind of a quick roundup. I do recommend that you do some of the crafting starter missions if you can find those to do, but I hope you found that useful. I'm going to keep on deconstructing everything that I find rather than sell it. There's different ways of making money. I've got 3,000, I'm definitely after a horse, but isn't everybody else. So thank you so much for watching, I hope you found that useful. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more. Also leave some comments. As a big thanks out to Glenn again for suggesting this video. If you want to see other videos or see other details or other bits of Elder Scrolls that you want more information on, just put it in the comments below. I'm more than happy to make videos for people. There hopefully will be a how to make as much gold as quickly as possible video, and I have some ideas for you guys. I'm not particularly concentrating on making as much gold, but if that's your thing, I have some ideas on how to achieve that. But anyway, thank you so much for all your support, thank you for all the comments, thanks for all my subscribers. It is massively appreciated. Take care, thanks again for watching.